between collective guilt and individual.
Why don't you feel guilty? No,
I don't.
Yeah, and
because I didn't do it.
I think more black conservatives, but you benefited from it. You benefited from it, and you still benefit from it.
Yes.
Bill Maher brought on this woke idiot Killer Mike onto his show. He's a rapper, and of course he goes on Real Time with Bill Maher and tries to argue with Bill Maher and convince Bill and his audience on Real Time with Bill Maher here that reparations are a good thing for America, and that, you know, black people deserve reparations, white people should be paying reparations. And luckily Bill Maher has enough common sense to shut down this argument that, you know, reparations should be paid to black people. Bill Maher shuts him down, and it really does stun Bill Maher's audience here live on Real Time with Bill Maher. Let's get into this clip here where this debate gets super awkward as Bill Maher is forced to shut down this uneducated guy that's just regurgitating talking points that he's heard before, and Bill Maher just puts him in his place. Let's get into this clip here.
Comment on my editorial that I just did about how there's a lot of materialism in music these days, and maybe it's not great for the kids.
I think there's materialism in American society, period. We're just, musicians and artists a lot of times, in terms of when art becomes commerce, it's just a reflection of where society is. When you were talking about, you know, it used to be a lot of bitches and hoes and homophobia in there. Bitches, hoes, and homosexuals buy music. And at a certain point, the people who make music was like, it's not cool to keep saying this shit because they got better buying power than just the guys who are mad at home. And what you see now is the people on top of the charts are the Kendrick Lamars, the Drakes, the J. Coles, because society, what is it? Huey said, it's not the vanguard that moves the people, it's not the leadership, it's when the people are ready to move. So I think when I have arguments with Anaya, my 26-year-old daughter, I know that there's a change coming because of the way she views the world. So I think musicians and artists for commerce are going to adjust. But when it comes to money, we have an infatuation with money in this country. You know, so much to the point we went and kidnapped a bunch of people 400 years ago, made them work for free, and said, boom, greatest nation in the world. So, you know, happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month.
It's like a relationship fight. You never let it go.
No, you can't. I'll tell you this. Speaking of money, you want to let it go. Prepare a reparations package for black people in this country. For people, and I'll tell you this. The leader of the Fed said something.
Didn't I buy dinner last time?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, and the restaurant.
That does not count.
You did. You offered to marry my wife if I died early.
Absolutely.
Too, so. But I do think this country could benefit from a reparations package that included cash, that included reversal of redlining by helping black people be homeowners, understand credit, and understand Americans that if the black community has more money, this country has more money. Yeah, and we need to start seeing ourselves in a relationship.
As long as we have the topic on the table, what do you think about that? Reparations.
Vivek Ramaswamy just texted me his Taylor Swift playlist. I haven't been paying attention, so I'll pass.
Wait, you're dodging this question?
I'll dodge out. In terms of what, reparations?
Sending out a check.
Someone's got to pay. No, I'm not for reparations. I'm not for that at all. At the end of the day, this country owes $34 trillion, and the government doesn't owe that money. You all owe that money.
And also,
don't be fooled. The money's got to come from somewhere.
There's a difference between collective guilt and individual.
Why don't you feel guilty? No,
I don't.
Yeah, and
because I didn't do it.
I think more black conservatives, but you benefited from it. You benefited from it, and you still benefit from it.
Yes, that's true too.
So my thing is just help spread the benefits.
But you know, there are reparations that do go on in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what's really sad about this? It's like, I don't think this guy, Killer Mike, is really a bad person. And I think a lot of these people, because I don't think Killer Mike is also profiting off of this. So whenever someone is not going on Bill Maher's podcast or Real Time with Bill Maher, and they're not selling a book about how black people or minorities are just victims and they can never achieve anything in life because America just hates black people, whatever. If they're not selling a book or profiting off of it in some sort of way, I don't really get mad at them, you know? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is selling a book or something. I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't think he is. And so I don't think he's genuinely a bad person. You know, I think he's just really misled and really misinformed. And you can make this reparations argument to someone who is not super well read and super well informed. You can make the argument sound extremely attractive and really common sense like. You really can. It sounds so it sounds like it makes so much sense whenever he puts it that way to a person who is not super educated on this. But when you really just start to think logically and you start to go through, like, let's go through the natural steps of what's going to happen during this reparations that we're supposed to give out. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make any sense at all. And whenever you explain that to these people, they usually start to understand, because he seems like a somewhat reasonable person. He just seems to be misled. The problem is, a lot of people don't even, like, we've had this argument so many times, and it's so damn old now that nobody even wants to really explain it to someone. And look, I don't even really think it's our job to explain it anymore. I think there's so much free information out there. You can just go find the information. But I don't think people want to, like, why would you want to go find information that dispels something that you've been living your life by for so long? And also, not only have you been living your life by it, but it gives you an out for being very mediocre in life. This guy gets, I mean, he's obviously not mediocre, but any failure that he has, he can just say, oh, well, I'm black in America, so I'm not supposed to succeed anyway. And it just gives you that relief. And if you just realize one day that, oh, wait, that's not really how it works, then, it changes your entire worldview. It makes you really uncomfortable.
And I didn't say absolutely just give me a few $1 million and I'm fine. No, I think that trade and higher level education, I do think a cash payout. I think that there should be a mortgage forgiveness. I think that we should have an incentive to incentivize black wealth in this country. Robert Smith, black billionaire, had an interesting conversation where he wanted to tax corporations 2% of wealth. Imagine what 2% of multi-billion-dollar companies does for black society. What it does is it creates a place where it's not perfect, but Atlanta black people have opportunity. And if you talk to Governor Brian Kemp in Georgia, we also have a Republican governor who I have a relationship with. For the last 10 years, we've been #1 in business. We've created over 60,000 jobs and have more jobs coming. I would challenge you to help put together a reparations package that made the rest of America look more like the opportunity.
Well, he's from New Hampshire. That's not going to happen.
But if I may, Lord knows I didn't want to get into a reparations discussion.
It would cost you hundreds of dollars up there.
And then you got again, what about the Native Americans who are, you got to go down the list. And when we're done with the reparations package this year, what about
you don't hear black
generations?
people arguing against reparations for anyone. We've never argued against reservations. We've never argued against any payouts for people America's wrong. We're simply saying, while we're at the table, let's do something to aid the people that until 60 years ago lived in apartheid.
Okay, but like
60 years is not very long.
With Native Americans, we gave them the casino industry. Yeah. What about, supermarkets?
Could black people have the marijuana industry?
Well, I'm something like that.
Could we look at his fucking face? Would you give us marijuana? Multi-billion-dollar industry is still fresh. It's still growing. Why doesn't Killer Mike have a marijuana license in Georgia?
I'm out of the business.
Will you call Brian Kemp for me? I'll call Brian right now.
What does that even look like, though? Like, it's not as simple as just give black people the marijuana industry. What the hell does that even mean? Like, dude, I don't know if I'm misinformed or what, but it's not as if Native Americans have a monopoly over casinos, right? I don't think that's how it works at all, where only Native Americans can own casinos. So what does it look like? Do we give black people a reservation somewhere and let them run dispensaries in Savannah, Georgia? Like, I don't understand what this guy even means, give black people the marijuana industry. Is he being serious or is he trolling? I genuinely don't know. I just want to know what that means, because, like I said, I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think he hears these things, and on the surface, they sound so great, and they sound so common sense. It sounds so easy. He's heard somebody say this before, and he's just like, wow, that sounds so good. Just give black people the marijuana industry. I need to go repeat that on Bill Maher's podcast, or Real Time with Bill Maher. It's going to make me sound so smart. I think that's all it is. I'm curious to see what you guys think in the comments, but I just feel like this is such a dumb take. It's brain dead.
I don't know where the discussion's going to go. Brian's a great friend, but
if you're going to buy marijuana, I would suggest you do it at The Woods, which is the great pot shop here in L.A., which I'm a part owner of with Woody Harrelson. Okay, what do you think of the news that NASA says the moon is shrinking? Fucking Biden.
All right. See, even Bill Maher, man, like, whenever he's making fun of right-wingers, he can be funny sometimes, man. But I don't really care about the moon shrinking. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Bill Maher having to put this woke rapper here, Killer Mike, in his place on Real Time with Bill Maher whenever they get into the reparations and the race relations and all that stuff. All those ridiculous talking points that this guy had and other people have as well. Let me know in the comments, you guys think about this whole Bill Maher versus this woke rapper situation.